There's a screen popped up. I'm reading it really quick, so I apologize if I seem a little bit out there. It's talking about moderators, but that's something I can get to later. What is up? So happy to see you guys. So happy to get a chance to talk to you guys when I have a moment. Thank you guys for coming in advance. I'm sure I'll see some of you pop in just a little bit, but there's actually two things that I want to talk about today. I do pay attention to the comments still, even if I don't reply to them nearly as much as I used to. There's a lot of you guys with all due respect, so I got to manage what I reply back with and when I say it, or else that's going to take up all my time. So, with that being said, again, there's two things that I want to talk about today. One of them is actually one of the comments that I did read, and it was asking me, just giving me a suggestion for what I could talk about when I come to you guys with these. And it was about favorite wrestlers. So, if you guys have a favorite wrestler, put yours down in the comments. And there's two people in mind that I have for this. So, my favorite wrestler all time watching growing up is CM Punk. That's the person that I grew up with. I want everybody to understand that I became a fan of WWE back around 2006. I was about 10, 11 years old at the time. And CM Punk is the one who was really coming up around then. So he's the one that I grew up watching, grew with. I got to watch his whole career play out post Ring of Honor in front of my eyes. And he was the one that I enjoyed watching the most on the screen. So Tyrese's favorite wrestler, he's got the Rated R superstar Edge, who, if anybody doesn't know, is Adam Copeland now in AEW. And there's also Rey Mysterio, who personally I can't wait to see come back. I think it's going to be really interesting, especially if Dom still has the Intercontinental Championship, even if he still has the AAA Mega Championship, which I got to pay more attention to that personally and see what's going on with that, especially because I was just doing shorts for La Parca and Mr. Iguana because they were on Halloween Havoc last night, for anyone who didn't know. We've got Siny Avi, whose favorite wrestler is Roman Reigns. What's up, Vaznath? What's up, Vineet? How you guys doing? Good to see you guys. Happy you guys are coming into the chat. We've got somebody that said Masala. I don't know if that's a wrestler. I don't know what in the world that means. Tyrese wants to see Dom Dom versus Rey Mysterio with both titles on the line in an Extreme Rules match. That would be interesting. Shout out to Era Tosca. What's up? How you doing? We got one person who said Jimmy Uso is their favorite wrestler. That's an interesting choice. Before I get to that, shout out to Deborah Ellington, the man they call Deborah. Wow, we've got 26 of you guys right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We've got Orange Cassidy. God, I miss watching the hands in the pockets. We've got Bray Wyatt. Well, somebody's asking me here, brother, where are you from? I am from the U.S. I'm from New Jersey. I'm not going to get into all that there. Cut that crap off. Nah, I'm good. This seems like it's going okay. Someone asked me if you like watermelons. I thought I was on here talking about wrestling, but yes. Anyways, we got what's your favorite book? Roman Reigns is your favorite. Anyways, we were talking about favorite wrestlers. So the last person that I remember talking about is Jimmy Uso. And the reason why we were talking about Jimmy and I said it was interesting was because of the fact that Jimmy Uso has a lot going on with his brother Jay right now. And I'm interested to see how this CM Punk versus Jay Uso match is going to go next week because you got to wonder if after that battle royal, after Jay Uso threw Jimmy off the top rope, you got to wonder how that storyline is going to play out. Is Jimmy going to turn on his brother again? Is he going to stay loyal? You got to wonder what's going on with that. And I'm curious to find out what's happening. Where is Brock Lesnar? I wonder that myself. I'm trying to figure out where Brock Lesnar's been the last couple of weeks because I'm a little worried about it. But Anyways, like I said in the beginning, CM Punk was my favorite wrestler growing up. And personally, the guy who became my favorite as I continue to watch pro wrestling is Stone Cold Steve Austin. I feel like I resonate with him the most out of any wrestler, especially growing up, becoming an adult. Like, that is the guy who I wrestled with, I'm not even, not wrestled with, resonated with, excuse me, the most since I got into wrestling. But anyways, we got somebody here for the NWO. Shout out to the NWO. That was absolutely groundbreaking when that happened, and it was that must have been an incredible time to watch wrestling. We got somebody for Will Ospreay here. We got another person for The Undertaker. Yo, The Undertaker, honestly, is second on my list. Personally, the guy that I think is the GOAT in wrestling is The Undertaker. What's your opinion on Dolph Ziggler? Is he overrated or underrated? I think he's very underrated. I agree with that. I think Dolph Ziggler has been extremely underrated for a long time. I think his TNA run has absolutely been underrated, and I don't even keep up with TNA that much. Yo, shout out to all the people that are calling me Wolverine. We've got somebody else here that likes and Kane and Mr. Sacco. Bro, listen, a dream match for me, we got to get Mr. Sacco versus Laieska going. That's what I really want to see. Why don't you shave? Because you guys keep calling me Wolverine. Why would I want to shave after that? Like, I'm trying to figure that one out. Shout out to Dylan Hernandez. What's up, bro? How you doing? But Stone Cold Steve Austin is the person I resonated with growing up the most. CM Punk was probably my favorite watching while I was growing up. So that was asked to me. And what I wanted to talk about, I resonate with CM Punk, straight edge for life, dude. Honestly, that's not probably the worst thing that you could resonate with because, I mean, that can get you into some shit. I know from experience. We've got another guy whose favorite wrestler is Sabu. Loved how hard that guy went. Rest in peace. I agree with that 100%. And I remember growing up watching wrestling because by the time I was watching, Sabu already had a whole bunch of scars, was already charred up, went through a whole bunch of shit in his wrestling career already. And that was really shown, and I don't know if I want to say that resonated with me because I didn't see what Zabu went through, but you look at everything he went through because you could see it on his flesh and you're like, whoa, holy shit, what were some of these wars like? And then you go back and watch them and, you know, getting the story to what you first see, I think always kind of, makes you have a greater respect for it. We got Pepito who says, I resonated with Jeff Hardy growing up. We've got Deborah saying, I'm still waiting for a one on one match between Laieska and Demonito. I agree with that one 100%. Yo, Jeff Hardy was so much fun to watch. We talked about CM Punk a little bit. Yo, I remember back when he was feuding with Jeff Hardy, and it's such an underrated feud that nobody talks about. And the psychology of that feud, I think, even back then when it was happening, was so underrated. CM Punk bringing up Jeff Hardy's past, Jeff Hardy talking about living in the moment. And that's when we really got to see CM Punk dive more into his straight edge character, which I think was such a blessing for CM Punk, you know. And think about it, after that, I mean, that's when he started really going into the pipe bomb. That's when we got the Summer of Punk. So you could look at it in one way and say that straight edge character took CM Punk to a little bit of a different level. But that's just my opinion personally. But anyways, I wanted to talk to you guys also about a certain topic that I had in mind. I envy your beard. I don't blame you. Not even a little bit. 100%. I have been working on this for a while, and it does kind of help me look a little closer to my age, so I'm not mad at that either. But anyways, the topic that I had in mind that I wanted to talk about, because we're 10 minutes in and I still haven't talked about it, which shout out to you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being here. And I appreciate you guys distracting me and being able to kind of, just interact in general. I like this. But again, the topic that I wanted to talk about today was the US Open Challenge. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because it was brought back by Sami Zayn. He had a match with John Cena on SmackDown. He was the first person to be in that open challenge, and how WWE was able to tie it together and make sense out of it was because of the fact that John Cena was given an opportunity by Sami Zayn. It was Sami Zayn's first match on the main roster on Monday Night Raw. And you know, it was a crazy match. Sami Zayn got injured in the middle of it, still went on to have a great performance, even though we didn't get to see him for months and months. And again, it was Sami Zayn's first opportunity, and he wanted to make sure he paid that back, and he wanted to make sure he gave that to John Cena because John Cena was on his way out the door and he wasn't going to get another chance. So they did a great job at making that make sense. And I loved it. I really enjoyed the way they tied that together. And even though we didn't get a finish to that match, Sami Zayn was able to continue doing his open challenges. And I had a lot of fun with that. Now, with that being said, I think it ended a little bit too prematurely, even though I love the fact that Ilya Dragunov is being put into the spotlight a little more with his recent U.S. title win. Action Pack, shout out to you. Hey, yo, subscribe, motherfuckers. But, again, it ended prematurely, and even though, we're getting a continuation of Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn, and the MFTs, even though we're getting a continuation of that storyline, you know, I feel like Sami Zayn could have done so much more with it. And I really wish that he actually got to make something out of it. Because when I watched interaction between Sami Zayn and Ilya Dragunov, Sami Zayn, you could hear him say, John Cena passed this down to me, and now I'm passing this down to you. Can you do the famous thing? I actually just did it before you said that. And I feel like Sami Zayn saying that made it a little bit disingenuous. And that's not the fault of Sami Zayn. For the reason why I think it came across that way for me was because when John Cena was doing his US Open challenges, he was doing it for a span of about 6 months, other than a few weeks where Seth Rollins had the championship, if you guys remember. But John Cena did that for about 6 straight months and then finally dropped the title to Alberto Del Rio, if I remember correctly. If I'm wrong, somebody let me know. But we got to see that for a good period of time, and John Cena got to build that up. Sami Zayn spent about 4 weeks building it up and then dropped the title really, really quick. We got this shock title change. And if we're going to do this, I want to see somebody build it up and be able to do it for a while. Another example of this is Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy was defending the International Championship every week in AEW, and somehow, some way, he was able to find a win, able to find a way to get a roll up, hit a mouse trap, hit his finisher. No matter what, he was able to find a way to win every single week until he finally ran into John Moxley, who was finally able to take the title from him. But he had defense after defense after defense, and we came to expect that in AEW every week. And people talk about AEW's lack of storylines, which I think is a fair argument. But when you're having an open challenge every week, that can become a storyline in and of itself. So I think with that being said, Sami Zayn could have built this up a lot more, could have done much more with his open challenges, and then we could have passed the title to Ilya Dragunov. And I think these open challenge storylines, especially this one with the US title, would be able to benefit so much more from that. I feel like this was premature. I feel like the title change was rushed, and Ilya Dragunov could have won the title months down the road. I'm happy that he won the title as is. I'm happy he won it now, and again, I'm happy he's getting pushed into the spotlight because Ilya Dragunov does deserve it. But this is something we could have seen happen a little while later after Sami Zayn gets a few more months of open challenges under his belt. But that's just my opinion. Let me know two things when you guys leave comments on this video. I would really appreciate that. Let me know who your favorite wrestler is and why. And also let me know how you feel about the open challenges for the United States Championship in WWE, since that was going to be the main topic of this video, and I was asked to talk about my favorite wrestler. I figured might as well combine them both, might as well stay on a little bit longer, and make sure you guys have more of a chance to interact. But we got a lot of interaction in this video, and I really, really appreciate you guys being able to be here and have fun with the interaction part. A lot of you guys got to say some of your favorite wrestlers, and I enjoyed getting to put that out there as well as talk about some things that I didn't plan to talk about. So if you guys ever have questions, please let me know in the comments in these. I will ask questions. I will be very happy to answer any questions that make sense. And thank you guys again for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys comment, make sure you guys share, make sure you guys subscribe. We are trying to get to 25,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Where is MJF? Honestly, bro, they need to do more with MJF. I don't think enough has happened with MJF this year, and I feel like we've had some missed opportunities. And I do want to see how his feud with Mark Briscoe is going to play out. But at the same time, I feel like we could be doing more with him, and I want to see more being done with him. I want to see more that is going to happen with Hangman Adam Page, and maybe that'll come. It just hasn't yet, and I'm waiting very impatiently for it. I love when you say, "Hey yo, subscribe, motherfucker." I love saying it too, man. I wouldn't have kept saying it if I didn't like it. Hi, bro. I'm Indian. That's great, man. I love that. Thoughts on a crazy matchup? Maybe Bronson Reed versus Mark Henry or Big Show. I'm pretty sure they're both retired. I don't know how that's going to work, but if it does ever happen, I just kind of want to see Bronson Reed just maul either one of them. I think that would make him look fantastic. We got one that says, "Are you Sami Zayn's cousin? Maybe the extra honorary Uso?" I'll take being the honorary Uso. I feel like I've heard that I look like Sami Zayn or Sami Zayn's cousin a lot now. I get Queso a lot on here. Uh, what's that dude? Red from My House is Dirty. I get that a lot on here. I don't know who the fuck either of those dudes are, but those are things that I've heard quite a bit, and I'm pretty sure they're from shows or gaming. I just don't know where. You look like Jay from the American In-Betweeners. What the fuck kind of incestual sounding ass show is that? Yeah, no, people have said queso quite a few times, bro. You're probably not that surprised actually, but that chubby American actor. I is chubby too, so no hate. Nah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being that. I mean, honestly, I think you should love yourself, man. So, shout out to my little brother Nick Gers. Today is his birthday. Happy birthday, little bro. Hope you have a lot of fun on your birthday, and I hope you guys once again had a lot of fun in this live stream. Shout out to Shiva who just messaged the chat. But anyways, again, like, comment, share, subscribe. We've just passed 20,000 subscribers a few days ago, and again, I'm trying to hit 25 before the end of the year. So make sure you guys help us do that. And thank you guys so much for interacting with this live stream. I appreciate you guys always wanting to tune in. And again, I've loved the interaction on this one. So hopefully I can make sure that I can keep doing this. But again, like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you guys again. Peace out.